Well, we are on our way to the Windback sale. Amy and I hooked onto the trailer, as I assume we'll probably buy 2 or 3 horses there today. And we are heading out. But we didn't finish our videos. I did a lot of videos this week. What about the yearlings? Can you write down all the yearlings? What about Freddie and the 2 coming from Pennsylvania? I have their name on the phone.
I don't have any other names.
There's literally, I think we have 30 now. I think we have 30, maybe 31. Well, let's get right. Let's talk about the ones that aren't babies. Let's talk about the little older babies, the 2-year-olds, where they're at, what they're doing, what's going. Where are your sunglasses? Did you lose them? Just so you know, my wife, when it comes to sunglasses, just like little kids dropping cars all over the place, and so you left them in the barn.
I don't.
You don't know. They were on your face, covering your eyes, and now they're not. Why don't we ask Shane to go back and get them? He's following us.
But I don't remember. I had to look at the location.
Well, you didn't get out of the truck until Shed Row 12, so go jump in with Shane. Go grab them. Shane, who works for us, is following us. Not the end of the world. I do it all the time too. I just like to make fun of it. So we're going to talk about the 2-year-olds now. Almost there, boss, as you said. I talked the other day about it, rehabbing a little bit. Going to make sure this guy gets everything done right. We got a pretty hopeful future for him. You know, he finished off his year, did the best he could, and had some issues at the end of the year. OCD in each hind ankle was removed. Ended up with a line, what looked like could have been a line in his knee. At the end of the day, there was no, somebody said, well, are you going to go take a look at that x-ray again in his knee? No, because I'm going to give him enough time. If it was a line or not a line, it's not going to matter. So at the 6-week mark, he'll probably go to the field. As I said, we'll likely jog him a week just to make sure, because as you can imagine, coop the horses up in the stall for 6 weeks, go throw them out in the field with other horses running around. You do the math. So we're going to jog him likely for a week, take the piss and vinegar out of him, and then turn him out in the field. A more Diener will be out till likely December 1st. You know, here's a colt that could be, and I say this a lot, but I'm not lying, it's just the easiest way to put it. Could be any kind of horse. At the very least, he's going to be a useful horse. He already took a 57. If he doesn't go faster, much faster next year, there's still classes for him. So a more Diener out till December 1st. Arches Rainbow is back in now. Her and the other filly must have been fighting a bit. I see she got a bump on her stifle and a mark on her shoulder. That's all right. She's not lame. She's jogging good, so that bump will come down. It's just superficial, and same with the shoulder. Some war wounds from the field from her, and the other filly must show a lot of life, though, if she's fighting with Arches Rainbow, Rosie's masterpiece. So we'll see. But Arches Rainbow seems fine. Just lots of jogging, lots of miles into her right now. Better Be Sawyer come back yesterday. I know I said this is the last week of September. I thought I was ahead of schedule. I'm not. I'm right on schedule. Better Be Sawyer's back in now. She'll start jogging on Monday morning. Blue Bayou Dio is now in New Jersey. Rob Herman has Blue Bayou Dio. Rob's a great guy. I've known him for quite a while. Actually, one of the first years we opened the stable.ca, Rob Herman owned a horse with us. Not many people know that. So Rob is training Blue Bayou Dio. She's going to need a good race. Now, there's one division the other day, I believe. I thought they said there was 2, but I think there was 1. I believe there was 1 division, 9 horses. Even if there was 2, she's going to need a good race. Unless the same horses finish 1, 2, 3, 4, and then she just has to beat some of the other ones are 5, 6, 7, 8. So, Blue Bayou Dio racing in Freehold this Friday. I'll be flying out there Friday morning. Bomb Hugger's all done for the year. I still got to get her back here. I was messaging Joe Morris. I'm going to message him and ask him if he can get her back here. I'll reach out to Joe today and see if there's no rush. I mean, when she gets back, she gets back. We'll either turn her out if they got a truck going to Kentucky, then I'll turn her out in Kentucky. If they got a truck going to the Meadows, I'll turn her out in Pennsylvania. And if we go back to Northfield at any point between now and Lexington, I'll likely have an opportunity to turn her out at Winterwood. So wherever she lands, we'll have a field for her. Don't worry. Century Invictus, I trained him here yesterday. He was awesome. He's got the semifinals and hopefully the finals coming up. Those will be his last 2 starts of the year. Confederate Cruisers out in the field. We'll bring him back in December 1st, probably. Give him an opportunity to fill out, grow up, and we'll bring him back in. Duke Dio will be I had him into Qualified Tuesday. I am sorry. The curb, I had told him to give him 4 days in the stall. I don't really want to give him 4 days in the stall, jog him Thursday, Friday, Saturday, qualify him Tuesday. That's a little unfair to the bugger. So we're actually going to give him 1 more week off. I know, just be patient. There's lots of racing for our boy Dookie. I love Duke Deal, and I think he'll be a decent horse for us. We got to do what's right for him, and qualifying him Tuesday would just simply not be what's right for him. So we're going to end up giving him 1 more week. Found your glasses, did you, honey?
Yeah, okay.
That's great. Eyes at 10 will come back in December 1st also. Lots of time for this filly. I'm going to give her every opportunity to fill out and grow up and be a much more mature horse on the racetrack. Mentally, she had it all figured out, I think, or was well on her way to figuring it out. Physically, she was just touching that knee in her jack a little too much, and it was really hindering our ability to teach her. When you're frustrated and angry, when you're slapping at yourself, it's really tough to teach you how to become a better horse when you're hindered physically. So I think Eyes of 10 will be fine once we get her back in. Garden State Dio, same thing. She said Garden State Dio chased around Unbeatable Kemp for an entire day. An entire day, she did nothing but chase him. Yeah, she said she just had her mouth open.
Kemp
like
is terrified of horses that are mean to him.
Haley said she looked like an alligator. She had her mouth open the whole day, chasing him around the field. Anyway, Kemp will toughen up. Kemp's out in the field with Garden State Dio, and they're having fun in Kentucky on the bluegrass.
Doesn't sound like he's having fun.
Well, she said they're fine now. Grace, can't ask for her to be sharper at a better time, right? Grace will qualify on Tuesday to keep her tight. No class this week. She has another gold. I didn't realize there was 1 more left, but there is. She has another gold a week from Monday, so she'll qualify on Tuesday. James will go with her, get a nice little mile into her. Granite Hill back in December 1st. Again, this will be filed under hope. We hope that he grows up, fills out, and becomes a more mature horse, because he does have the breeding, he does have all the tools. So I do hope he comes back in good, because he is a likable horse. Hill of Magic, as soon as that bone fills in where she had that fracture, she'll head for the pool until the vet gives me a green light to start track work with her. I suspect she'll start back track work. I think it was August she got hurt. August, I would say by December she's going to be back on the track. We'll see. I know by December for sure she will be in the pool. As soon as the vet said, yeah, that looks good, she can win the pool, that's when she'll win the pool. And at whatever point he says she can start track work, that's when she'll start track work. No rush. Don't want to rush these horses, especially not her. I liked what I saw her last start. We changed a lot of equipment, a lot of stuff in her. Yes, she did end up fracturing her coffin bone, but that race where I got tossed, the goofball there put the objection in, she was going to be good that day, and she was good that day, and I think she was well on her way to being a nice horse. She was putting in a tough effort when she did fracture that coffin bone in her next race. So I'm expecting big things from this filly, actually, to be honest, in 2022. Kathy with an eye will come back in soon. She's a little cut above her leg. She must have been fighting with somebody in the field or something. Mark had sent me a picture of it. It's nothing. She'll heal up, and we'll get her back in soon. Massive Profit this Wednesday. He has to go to the University of Guelph. Okay, good. So he'll get that chip removed this week. It's just they were backed up. We were lucky to get Boss in, but that was more of an important thing, right? When you have to put that screw in, I think it is time sensitive. Adrenaline Rush. Sorry, it is time sensitive. So we were lucky enough. Milton Equine got us in quickly, but Natalie is going to take that chip out of Massive Profit this coming week. Matt's MVP, again, another horse where I expect he'll grow up. He's now grown up, matured physically quite a bit. Let's get him back in, get him working, and see what kind of horse we have with Matt's MVP. He could, and again, I'll use the term again, he could be any kind of horse. He has all the talent, little ignorant. By little, I mean a lot, but could turn into a nice 3-year-old for us. Of Tom, Amy's favorite filly, she's going to come back in December 1st. Yeah, I think December 1st. I want to give her all the time in the world. Fill out, grow up, and get happy. No, but I mean fill out, like grow mature-wise. You guys know I love this filly. A little special place in my heart. I like everything about her. I hope she ends up being a nice 3-year-old for us, because she's got one of the nicest gaits you could ever see on a trotter. She is just a sweetheart of filly. 1-2 skip a few. Talk about sweethearts. You're not going to find. We talked about how tough my Jazz is. Same ilk right here. 1-2 skip a few is very tough. Racing today, we're trying to race her for fair points. She must get in the trailer and just say, didn't I just do this like 5 days ago? She is tough, and she's not an easy filly to drive. Justin Irvine is driving her today. He's got a good set of hands on him, that kid. I think once he sits behind her in the warm-up, he'll have a very good feel for her. Just got to keep her trotting, keep her comfortable, keep her happy, and I think she'll get you there. Peanut butter and jelly will be out till December 1st. Somebody had asked me yesterday, why December 1st? It just seems like the time we bring a lot of them in, whether they get 10 weeks or 8 weeks or 7 weeks or 6.5. We'll bring them in December 1st. This filly, I want to give her exact same thing with Amy's filly. A number of other ones had some deficiencies, whether they be lameness or whether they be conformation or maturity or what they may be. I want to give them lots of time to grow up, and peanut butter and jelly is a filly you want to give lots of time. No excuses. Now you're on the clock. Don't come back and run in and be horrible, or we'll sell you. But if you needed time, we gave it to you. She's going to get all the time in the world. I expect her breeding will show up next year, and she'll be a good horse for us. Prairie Fire, that was the weirdest thing. You know, that horse had heat in his leg, and the ultrasound was inconclusive, and everything that went on with Prairie Fire. But he's good now. He's going to get a month in the field, a full month in the field. He'll come back in, I suspect, mid-November. We would like to race him this winter, so he won't be out super long, nor should he have to be. Spent a lot of time with light work and stall rest all summer. I suspect that Prairie Fire will look like $1 million when he comes in. Procrastinator, again, same thing with a lot of these horses, just letting them mature. This is a horse that, you know, he wasn't super impressive when push came to shove, but he was disgusting from the time we bought him, and then he just got out of nowhere, got better, and then looked great qualifying. You guys got a good look at what the difference between looking good and being a stake horse is this year. Quite a wide berth. Even a second qualifier, we're thinking potentially next generation. He went from next generation to winning a fair once. So there's quite a very small gray area there between, you know, that buffer zone between sire, stake, Buckeye, and fair is very thin. And I hope that Procrastinator matures and comes back in a physically and mentally a horse that's physically and mentally ready to race in 2022. Purple Aura, she's got it all put together, doesn't she? I wish I had stayed in the 2-wide path. You guys know that. You watched the race. I wish I had stayed 2-wide with her. Would I have been headed to the winner's circle? Maybe. I can't help but thinking I would have in her last start, but she raced fit. You know, going into the race, seeing how poorly Sweet on Pete raced on that track with her bar shoes on, knowing that flip-flops are along the same line, I was worried it was going to be
She had flip-flops on that track?
Yeah. I was worried it was going to be an abysmal start for her, and I didn't want that going into her next few races. As I started out of the 2-hole, she felt like she just was slipping a bit. So I just dropped her back in. Now, if I had just looked over my shoulder for a second and realized it was 10 lengths back to the horse in fourth, I might have rolled the dice and kept going. But with the pouring rain and it all happened so quickly, I just opted to retreat immediately, and it ended up being, the nail in the coffin as far as being able to win the race. But she raced great and finished third. Been a great filly for us all year. I know it kind of broke some people's hearts that we didn't buy her brother, but it just wasn't in the cards. I wasn't paying $40,000 for him. Just the way it was. So that was Purple Aura. Renegade Gypsy had a hit and miss kind of year. Never really bad, but a couple of times when we thought he'd be real good, he was just, he was so-so. But he's a big, strong colt. I think he's going to finish off his year good and have a real good year next year here at the stable for Mario. Resolute Bay, that sucks, eh? I didn't get to touch on this a whole lot. You guys saw what happened, right? You get interfered with, you got a hip check in the first turn. Like, that's quite the way to end your year, is to get run into and have the guy who did it get set back. That sucks. There's no solace in saying, at least he gets set back. Who cares? We 2-year-old trotters, he got sideswiped in the first turn and made a break, and it cost him what would have been probably first or second in that race. He looked good going into that race. He went to the field the day, text Wendy. I'm gonna let her know that Resolute Bay, Tago, Sunshine now out in the field. Better Be Sawyer and Stonebridge Akati are back in now. Yeah. rows above it. He should be in now, actually. We'll be bringing him in very, very soon, getting him ready for some winter racing. I like the colt. I think he's going to be a nice colt for us, but I'd like to do some racing this winter with him. Rosie's Masterpiece, obviously a little bit of a warrior when you look at her in Arches Rainbow. They must have went 12 rounds out in the field, but they're playful. They got along most of the time, apparently. I would have said all the time had I not seen the lump on the shoulder and the stifle of Arches Rainbow. But I'd like to see some life from Big Rosie. I don't mind that. I like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're fighting in the field, so good for her. Slim Jimmy, well, it is. I like to see some fight from her, absolutely. Slim Jimmy, gonna give old Jimmy all the time in the world. We did do a full barrage of x-rays. I haven't talked to Dr. Mike Latessa about those yet. I know there's that OCD in the left hind ankle, and he was hemming and hawing about taking it out. I mean, if he's gonna ask me as a non-medical person, what do you think? I want it out. I want the OCD out of him. It clearly bothered him from time to time this year. And any other issues he has, I want to know what they are so we can address them and work on them. This is a horse I think could be our best horse, one of our best 3-year-olds in 2022. He showed a ton of speed. He's got a beautiful gait. I want him sound, comfortable, without any physical distractions of any kind come 2022, and I think we'll have a very good horse. That's exactly what I want to see from Slim Jimmy. Stonebridge Dolce. She might have been horrible all year, but she's making her first lifetime start at the Meadows. I'm actually excited. I'm actually excited to race Stonebridge Dolce.
You would be.
I am excited to race Stonebridge Dolce on Wednesday. Her qualifier was behind a stake filly. No slob that beat her. Blazing Trail, horse that we bid on last year, beat her and then raced I raced against her last week. She raced somewhere. Oh, she raced in Jug Week in the Buckeye. That's the horse that beat Dolce in the qualifier. Dolce has a lot to learn about racing. She spent most of her life being stubborn and ignorant, so it's really hard for horses like that to learn. The only way to teach them is repetition. So she's going to get 7-8 starts deep into her career before she starts figuring out how to do it, maybe. And I know I've seen a million Stonebridge Dolces, not exactly a million, but I've seen a lot, both as a driver and a trainer. She could be a nice horse, but she could be a horrible troll of an animal also, and there is no way for me to know until we start racing her. And quite frankly, unless she screams, "Get rid of me," which I don't think she will, we will give her an opportunity to grow up and be a 3-year-old also. This filly does have some decent pedigree, and when she wants to, she can really trot. But she needs to understand how to do it properly. She's just not quite there yet. Stonebridge Hikati, Hank as they call him, is back in now. Lots of time, all healed up, all ready to go. Should be a nice horse for Mario to race all winter long. Sweet on Pete's out in the field. She actually left Delaware and went to the field immediately after Delaware. Pulled her shoes off when she got there, and out to the field she went. This is a filly that has raced well. Yes, it's unfortunate she had to race on a crappy track in Delaware the last year. That's Mother Nature. There's not much we can do with the last start. That's Mother Nature. There's not much we can do about that. That's racing. And then make that unfortunate break in the final. But before you start boo-hooing and saying, oh, it's not fair, she also had a great year and made $70,000. So you have to take the good luck with the bad luck. It's just the way it is. 3-point blue chip. Man, oh man. I don't know the best way to put it. I said this horse had me chewing my nails and very worried all year that he just wasn't a good horse. He had qualities of a bad horse. Enough of them that it was very worrisome. But he clearly had enough qualities. He showed enough that he had talent, he could do it, but never really cared about it, never really wanted to. Maybe it was that he just didn't understand it. And it was the time we gave him. And I think I preach this, and I don't mean to pat myself on the back, but at the same time, this story is indicative of what the stable can do. We are a giant stable, but we treat every horse as its own case-by-case basis, right? We don't train by a calendar. We don't say, okay, last week we went 35, this week we go on 30. This is how I want this horse trained this week. We're going to do it all the same way all the time. We don't do that. We tailored together a training program for 3-point blue chip. We kept him hidden all winter. If you guys remember back, he was never in the top bunch. This is a horse I've never paid more for a horse in my life than him. Almost twice as much as we've ever paid for a horse. It wasn't about the money, but it was about the horse, right? This was a horse that just mentally was stubborn, a little bit ignorant, but was it that he's a stud and that he just wasn't mentally mature to do what we needed and wanted him to do? Or was it that he had no talent? We chose the first. We chose the fact that he was immature. That mentally, if we treated him properly, if we brought him along slowly, if we kept him hidden, if we did all these things, that he would mature into a better horse. And that doesn't always happen. But it happened in this case. Man, what a transformation. You know, even when he came back to Ontario, he'd been in 2 minutes a couple of times. His first qualifier, James said, yeah, he felt pretty good. But like maiden, non-winners of 2, turn him out pretty good type thing. Then after he get hit in the head in that head-butting incident in his first race, James said, you know, before he made that break, he felt really, really good. Put him back in, he wins at 56. Now, the light bulb's kind of flickering in my head. What about the Valley Victory? What about the Breeders' Crown? I don't know. James said, geez, he felt really good. Really good. So really at that point, his next couple of starts are really going to tell the tale. What is a 3-point blue chip? What is he? What's he going to be? Is he going to be a horse that wins the non-winners of 1, non-winners of 2? James pulls up and says, didn't really want to do it tonight. All right, fine, let's turn him out. Is he that horse? Or is he the horse that you put in to go 10 days later and he just crushes them on a cold night in 55 flat, last half 56, last quarter in 27-3? And by the way, Tom Grossman of Blue Chip Farms owns a piece of 3-point blue chip. He retained 10% of them. He also owns a piece of the horse that he beat at the wire. And I talked to him after the race, and he told me that they had still do, have very, very high hopes for the horse that he beat. The Dio horse, World of something Dio. World at War Dio. Yeah, they got very high hopes for that horse. Horse that raced in the Wellwood. Horse that they really liked.
He was favored in the competition.
He what?
He was the favorite.
He was the favorite in the Wellwood. No, he wasn't.
James said.
James said no. Jason will call him. Jason will call him back. So, World at War Dio. I didn't know that. Now, if it's a lie to you, it's a lie to me. Amy's going to check it up right now as I finish doing the list. You're going to go on track it and look up World War Dio and look at the Wellwood line and see if there's a little star with a low number beside his betting odds. So, but 3-point blue chip for him to run down that horse and win the way he won, 3-4 lengths back. The horse on the front, he was gone. That's how you win races. He was gone. For 3-point blue chip to run him down the way he did in his 3rd lifetime start, World of War Dio won 5 starts ago in 56, in case you're wondering. This is a horse that has gone fast all summer, knows how to handle speed, and is rather good at it. And we run him down. That's a big mile for this horse. So at that point, now James and I are on the same page. James says, what do you think? He says he's going to the Breeders' Crown, bud. That's where he's going. He's going to the Breeders' Crown. So, unless something happens between now and October 22nd, I will give you what is going to take place. He's not going to race next week because there's no race for him at Mohawk. I'm not taking him to the Meadowlands early. He's been to Northfield Park. He's been to the Meadows. He's been on the truck plenty of times. He's been to Ontario. He's been back to Ontario. There's no need to have him to the Meadowlands. And this idea that he has to acclimate to the track, he's a professional now. And I would rather keep him healthy, keep him comfortable, and keep him on a winning frame of mind. So he's not racing next week. A week from Tuesday, he's going to qualify at Mohawk. We're going away to Kentucky, a nice little easy qualifier. The week after that, he is going to race. Which would be about 8 days before the 22nd. So that would be, we're going away is the 7th. The middle of the week is the 7th. He'll race theoretically on around the 14th, which would be 8 days before the Breeders' Crown. Lots of time to ship him down to New Jersey, let him get acclimated a little bit, settle in. He's turned into a road horse. There's not going to be any problem with him getting acclimated and settled in. We did this all year with Bomb Hugger. It was completely fine, at least for the first 4 or 5 starts. If it did take a toll, it was much later in the year. We're going to race him on the 22nd in the Breeders' Crown and hopefully make the final. Shortly after that, he's got the Valley Victory. Somebody says, too bad he wasn't ready early when all the money was there. He's going to race for $1 million in the next 2 months. Plenty of money there. Can't run hot all year, and I couldn't be prouder of the way we managed, and two, the way this horse has turned out. So proud of all the work that my wife did. She took care of him all summer long. Call a spade a spade. She took care of this horse all summer long. She takes care of him here in Jason's barn for Jason, Shed Row 12. Now, I know you want to go to New Jersey, but it might be tough. I may have to stay home and play mom. While mom goes to New Jersey. So we'll see. But 3 Point Blue Chip's going to New Jersey for sure, and he has, not for sure. We'll see how the next 3 weeks go, but I would say all signs point to him showing up at the Breeders' Crown on October 22nd. Tie One On, another horse, had a fantastic year. Think about it. We won a Gold with Grace. We won multiple stake races in Ohio. We won the Arden with Tie One On. We were third in the final with Tie One On. And Bomb Hugger raced great all year long. Admittedly so, she wasn't awesome in the final, but had a fantastic year in New York. So we won major stake races in New York, Ontario, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. All of them. And Kentucky, we won a leg of the Commonwealth. Kentucky, 5 jurisdictions we soaked up stake races in this year. And with a little bit of luck, we might get another stake race victory with Blue Bayou Deal in Freehold next Friday.
Yeah, we don't. New Jersey doesn't like us.
Well, New Jersey is the deepest end of the deepest ocean. It's tough. And, you know, when you buy a $9,500 filly, you're not really thinking New Jersey. You're thinking she's pretty. And she's turned out to be a very, very nice filly for us.
Need a driver for Skippy.
Why Justin Irvine's not going? I'll talk to him in a minute. Tioga Sunshine finished second. I knew it was going to happen. If Rick Zeron's horse got to the front, you know, Travis left and she was a little rolly in the first turn also. I was thinking maybe Rick's horse would make a break. If Travis could get in front of him, I think whoever made front in the first turn in that race, they didn't go fast because the fillies, both of them are not mature. Rick Zeron's filly looks nice, but she's much like ours, a big gangly filly that, you know, we have sophomore aspirations for. So to finish off the year the way she did was adequate. It was okay. And I'm hoping for a little bit more next year. She's a pretty filly that's well-bred, got a beautiful gait, so the sky is the limit for her, even though she didn't show a ton yet in her career. Twinbee Habanero is going to come back in probably December 1st. Big hopes for this guy. This is the so surreal brother of Twinbee Sunkissed. I trained him in 2 minutes at Northfield and decided that I wasn't going to continue on. He just felt like he was getting a little rolly. When you get further into the mile and the horses start getting a little rough.
Side note, that horse was favorite to win his elimination.
Oh, favorite to win elimination. What was his odds in the final?
30.
That's so he was not the favorite. I've just been informed that he lied to me earlier. World of War was not the favorite in the Wellwood. He was favorite in his elimination and $30 on the board in the final. Still.
He finished second in his elimination.
Still a huge achievement. Twinbee Habanero, as he said, December 1st. At that point, he should have more than enough time off to come back in. I like this horse. He doesn't hit himself. He doesn't get out of gear. He's just big. He's like a bus with a horse's head on it. And I expect big things from him as a sophomore. Twinkle in Her Eye showed a little pop to her this year. Didn't really have the same jump forward that, say, Century Invictus had, the other betters to light. But at the same time, was running in a little out of gear at times. I think she had a little soreness issues at the end of the year. We did the right thing shutting her down. We'll bring her back December 1st. Unbeatable Kemp will come back December 1st. You know, you want to talk about an unfortunate year. Here's a horse that made $14,000 and trotted in 54 twice as a 2-year-old. I think his slowest mile, other than a couple of abysmal races where sketchy drives, was like 57. And then that victory in Northfield, he just crushed them in 56 and 2. That was a big mile, both speed-wise, but maturity also. This is a horse that I told everybody, please, for the love of God, don't put him on the front. And then I went and put him on the front, and he won. And it was meant well. I meant to put him on I meant to get in the 2-hole behind Billy and Billy Run, so we just continued on our merry way. Voyage of Ice and Fire, probably one of the biggest disappointments of the entire year, personally for me, was the way that Voyage of Ice and Fire turned out. Very, very upsetting. It just goes to show you that I don't know either. This was a horse we raced in the Next Generation. We raced in a Sire Stakes. I was adamant this was one of our best horses. He didn't. He turned into be a very mediocre, very ordinary animal, to be quite frank. So hopefully he grows up. as a sophomore. And then the last two are dandies also. Will to win Hanover. Yes, she missed her 2-year-old season, but don't think for a second we aren't looking big for this filly at 3. I love everything about her. Hopefully the time off let her mature as a filly. Let her understand, both physically grow up and fill out, bone heal up, but mentally as a horse also start to understand what her job is. I know that's hard to explain. You're saying, how could you possibly understand? But at the same time, you're in a barn every day around horses doing their work. You are going to mellow out. You are going to feel a little more comfortable in your surroundings and your setting, and that's exactly what I hope and I believe Will to Win Hanover did. World 4-2, just a beautiful, beautiful horse. He had a good year. Mario managed him well. The only hiccup was that start where you get screwed. They give us the outside and the straight downwards 2 or 15 at Grand River. That was frustrating. Other than that, he had a fantastic year and capped it off with a win at 55 in the mud. Very proud of this horse. Very hopeful for another horse as a sophomore in World 4-2. So those are our 2-year-olds. All done now. I turned it into a 31-minute lecture.
It's actually not terrible considering.
No, that's usually a 10-minute list. The 2-year-olds 30. But whatever. Now you have a real good handle on how I feel about all the horses that are still in our barn. That are 2. We'll talk to you all very soon. We are 15 minutes from the sale. We'll be pulling in about 9:45. Take care.